Welcome to the Success Resequencing Project. I'm Debbie Ponticus.
And I'm Jenn Newman.
Join us as we challenge the traditional definitions of success so you can build a fulfilling path of your own.
Get ready for inspired, candid conversations while gaining tools, inspiration, and confidence to create your own authentic success story. We're back for another episode of the Success Resequencing Project.
That's right. I can't wait.
I can't either.
I'm super excited because the past couple episodes we've been doing these like surprise topics.
Yeah.
Because we're so thrilled that our community and our listeners are starting to engage with us and say, hey, what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts about that? And that's where we just love. Like we love being able to react on the fly to what's happening out there.
The more
world.
interactive, the better in our world.
Yes. Amen.
Okay.
So with that, we would love for people to interact with us by subscribing. So if you're listening and you haven't yet subscribed, please just pause for a moment.
That's right.
And hit that little thumbs up, subscribe,
the plus,
the plus, thumbs up, subscribe,
yes,
whatever.
Exactly.
And then if you're loving what you're hearing, then give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That would be so great.
Can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
It really means a lot to us. And honestly, we are just so happy that we're so grateful for your listenership, for your viewership on YouTube. It means so much to us and we appreciate it. So thank you for taking just that one extra step to like or subscribe. It does not get lost on us. You can also follow us on Instagram. That is a great way to connect with us through DMs there. So feel free. And honestly, if an episode resonates with you, just share it.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Right? Just share the episode.
We don't make money on this podcast.
No,
so the way
don't.
that we grow is through you sharing with others that you feel could really resonate with this message.
That's what matters to us. What matters to us is that the content is resonating and that it might just help someone. That's what matters to us most. And the only way that happens is if the word gets out. And so share, like, subscribe, follow, DM, all the things. We're here for you and we will absolutely respond. And we respond. We're
very responsive. We're very responsive people.
Yes.
Well, I'm not. Jen is. If there's someone responding, it's Jen. I'm like, oh, what just happened?
We're here. We're here for you.
So I'm excited to not know this topic.
I know. I don't either.
Okay,
so you guys, we really don't know. Lizzie, my assistant, has been putting these things on cue cards for us and hands them to us and sits and watches and makes sure that we do not cheat.
Yeah.
So here we are. Okay. So today's topic is, I see the broader topic is hobbies. Exclamation point.
Yes.
Okay.
Fabulous.
Okay. So it's 3 parts here.
Okay.
I'm going to read all 3 just to kind of plant the seeds and then we'll circle back.
Okay.
1, what would you say your hobbies are? Okay. Would you say that hobbies are an important part of maintaining your identity outside of your career?
Okay.
Or do you use your hobbies as an additional tool for your business? I am thrilled about this.
This is exciting.
This is awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was part 2, and there's 3 parts.
No, that was part 3.
Oh,
so
okay,
the first part was,
you're
what
gonna
would
have
you
to
say your
walk
hobbies
me
are?
through this. My brain is like, bung. Okay.
Perimenopause. Okay, here we are.
It's our jingle.
It is. 1, what would you say your hobbies are?
Okay.
And then 2, would you say that hobbies are an important part of maintaining your identity outside of your career?
Yep.
Or part 3, do you use your hobbies as an additional tool for your business?
Okay. Fantastic. Let's go. I'm excited about this because I've been doing a lot of thinking about this one.
Although I see hobbies, exclamation point, makes me think of Holly Hobby.
Oh,
did
Hobby
you have,
Lobby?
Or Hobby Lobby. I like, did you have Holly? Were you into Holly Hobby?
Mm-mm. No.
I had the matching twin bedspreads.
Oh. So was that like our age of what's the new doll? The American Girl
dolls. I feel like Holly Hobby was, I would say was close.
Our generation of that. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I don't even know why it's not even resonating. I mean, but no.
You can see the bonnet. Okay.
The only thing I had was the Cabbage Patch Kid. And by the way, couldn't even afford growing up the regular,
Did you have
Mattel,
a fake one?
Yes. That was made out of pantyhose from my neighbor down the street.
100%. And was stuffed?
Yes.
So my first
with
one
yarn for the hair
was called Jessica.
Oh.
Okay. Jessica, my mom had Jessica made through a woman at the boutique at the craft bazaar situation. And Jessica was brown eyes, brown hair, yarn, pantyhose, the whole thing. Now, even as a young child, I knew a knockoff. Okay, I'm just going to say.
I knew it was like, there's no way.
100%. I loved Jessica, and she was actually quite a good knockoff, but at the end of the day, she didn't have the stamp on her ass.
No,
right? That
I
was
wanted
the
the
whole
damn
thing.
stamp and the smell. Like a Cabbage Patch Kid had a specific smell
100%.
and the stamp, and it had a birth certificate.
100%.
And I didn't get that, but that's okay.
Did you ever get one?
I did finally get one, but it was never in the time when they were like super popular, because like this is back in the day where
people
for
were
Christmas
knocking
we're
people
literally
out.
killing people for Cabbage Patch dolls. So no, I never had one on that, like when it was the big frenzy, but it was kind of like once the frenzy died off, then
So
and
our
they were
moms
more,
probably called each other, because that was kind of how my situation played out. I ended up having a couple of them. And there's nothing like that smell. Yeah. Okay. Well,
so
now that we've gone down. Holly Hobby.
Hello. Yeah,
Hobbies,
this is where
Holly
our
Hobby,
brains go
and
on
Cabbage Patch.
drugs. Any questions?
If you're old enough to have this conversation, you too are having perimenopausal ADHD like we are.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
What would you say your hobbies are?
Okay. We've had this conversation a lot about
I love this.
hobbies. So I want you to go first, because you actually have legitimate hobbies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's entirely true. Okay. Hobbies.
Yes. What are your hobbies?
Well, I love to watercolor.
Yes. Which
Absolutely
is
love it.
awesome.
Yes.
Your watercolors are amazing.
Thank you. I enjoy it so much. And that was a later in life thing.
Yeah.
I did not know that I had any desire, instinct to paint until Lila left for school, and I bought paints, and here we are. That has been so awesome to be able to do that. I guess some would say that singing is my hobby, but that was a career and that is a professional skill. I don't consider that a hobby.
But now that it's not your full-time job, would you consider it a hobby? No, still not. Okay.
That's like as innate to me as breathing.
Okay.
And I don't sing for free. So that is like, and I don't, I really don't. Like that's a skill that I developed and a talent that it doesn't feel like a hobby.
Okay.
And that just is my opinion.
Yeah.
That does not mean it's true.
Right.
I also genuinely love to, like a hobby. I don't know if I'd call it a hobby per se, but like this whole staging arm of my business, like redecorating and creating vignettes. And
you've been really
things
starting to incorporate that a whole lot more into your business.
Yeah. And I feel like that's ultimately a hobby. Really for my main hobby, which is retail therapy. I think that is really a hobby. So I think I found a way to, you want to talk about, do you use your hobbies as an additional tool for your business? Yes, I do.
Yes. And her business card.
Coming to a Ross and Home Goods near you will be Jenn Newman. Yes. But that has always been something I've loved to do. Ever since I was little, I would rearrange my room. I would recreate things on my bookcases. I would change things around. I've always loved to quote stage.
Yep.
And so when I came into real estate and realized that was something I could actually do to help my clients and help listings, game on. I was like, yes. Did I go get a certification? Yes. Because I wanted it to be legitimate, but that all came from a hobby. Yeah. And that's creating home, creating those kind of spaces. Yeah. I'd say those are the big ones, really. Yeah. They're all creatively, it's all creatively driven. I, in deep down, wish that I was a gardener.
Oh.
But no, that's, things come to die. Yeah. And I
Grim
also...
Reaper, not a gardener.
Yeah, Grim Reaper, not a gardener. And then for a long time, a hobby was cooking. I think we talked about this.
Did talk about that.
Genuinely, back when Lila was a baby, I sold Pampered Chef for a hot minute. Did I ever tell you that?
Stop. Yes. Oh my God. That's amazing.
So for a minute, but what came out of that experience was that I learned that I really loved cooking, and then started reading and just taking in Ina Garten, Barefoot Contessa, all of her cookbooks, Julia Child, and loved that. I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. I'm no longer there. I mean, once in a blue moon, I'll cook again, but that wasn't something, once I started my business, that kind of went by the wayside, much to my family's chagrin. So
this is when I wish we had I had my cell phone or a laptop or something, and maybe I'll shout out to our producer who's in the room and he can look this up for us
Nikolai.
while we're, would you look up, Nick, the definition of hobby?
Ooh.
Because I just want to see how it's defined.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Actually.
Because let's see, did you find it?
You can repeat after me.
I will repeat after you
Okay,
for the
here we go.
listeners.
An activity done regularly in one's leisure time for pleasure.
An activity done regularly in one's leisure time for pleasure.
That is why.
Amazing. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you. Can we have a laugh track on this too?
Yeah.
That is why
Okay.
singing is not that for me.
Okay. Because it's not for pleasure?
No, it's that it's not done in my leisure time.
Got it. Okay. So with that definition, I have no hobbies. And I'm okay with that. I have things
You
that
have
I
come on.
No, but with that exact definition, I have no hobbies because I have no leisure time. That's the thing. But what I literally, and this has just come to my epiphany moment, in the past week or two, my hobby, the things that I enjoy doing is working. And I am okay to admit that that's a hobby. Now, let me back that up a little bit. I'm going to back that up a little bit.
Back up the train.
Is I enjoy being busy and I enjoy having something to do and I enjoy building business. So if building business could be a hobby, then that's my hobby because I cannot sit still. I can't give my time. I do enjoy baking. But when I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, what do I want to do today? I literally will go and say, okay, well, I could work on the podcast or I could work on my real estate business or I can do this marketing consulting thing. And I enjoy that. It is exciting to me. And I am like, why then? It's okay for that to be what motivates me and what I get joy out of. And that is feeling a sense of purpose, being creative in different types of environments, seeing and building business and seeing things grow to evolve.
That is not a hobby.
I know, but I think I'm okay saying that is my hobby. I enjoy it. Because I look at,
yeah.
so look,
hold
okay.
on. Time out.
All right.
Time out. I love what I do.
Yeah.
I loved singing when I was singing on a much more regular basis. I loved all of it, but those were not hobbies.
But if I were to tell you what I do in my leisure time for pleasure, it's really embarrassing. And that means my hobbies are watching right now Bridgerton, because I just discovered that show.
Yeah.
That's an amazing show.
Okay.
I do enjoy cooking, baking cookies and stuff like that. But it's not you're studying your watercoloring. You're putting time and energy and effort into it. Literally, when I have time to just do nothing, I don't want to put energy and effort into studying and becoming better at something. I want to lay on the couch and play my Clash of Clans or the Royal thing. I'm addicted to that one now. Whatever little games are on your phone where it's just mindless switching around of coins to get,
I'm I'm in it with you.
But
what I heard in that was a very key thing that I think,
all right,
which is that you're embarrassed to admit that's what you want to do when you're in leisure time. So you'd rather say, I don't have hobbies because I love creating all these businesses.
But I do love creating businesses.
So do I, but that's not a hobby.
Okay. But I can't say that a hobby is binge watching Netflix. Is that a hobby?
You could be someone that is totally into series television.
Okay.
In as much as some people are devout readers, readers are a hobby for them, right? In their leisure time, they're picking up a book.
Yeah.
That is not me, right?
Right.
I would not that way.
Yeah. Reading a book is something that is I have to be intentional and it's like a chore.
Yes, it feels more like a chore. Exactly. But I am perfectly okay that watercolors, fine. That is, yes, that has become a hobby.
Yes.
That has become something that I thoroughly enjoy doing.
I
find pleasure in it during my leisure time. But I wouldn't say that when I'm building another business or creating for that business or reiterating something for a business or expanding a business, growing a bit. it's what we're in the weeds of it. We could purposefully be building business 24 hours a day.
I literally could. And I have to mindfully step aside.
That's the point. That's the point that I had to find, because otherwise it was going to be work 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And the scary part of it is that I enjoy it.
Yes, that's the thing.
But the thing is that that other part of my brain that does need to be engaged, the part of my nervous system that actually does need to learn what a sense of calm and peace feels like. I may be in the zone when I'm working, and I can go deep into the zone, and really, truly, time just passes. Like hours could go by.
Yeah.
And my to-do list, that's all dopamine. That's all connected to productivity. That's connected to success. That's connected to achievement.
Yeah.
That's connected to, if we didn't get results from that, that's not leisure time. We're not enjoying. The pleasure doesn't come from, I'm just going to have an idea and I'm going to just play with it. And then if nothing comes of it, that's fine.
Yeah.
Key emphasis on, if nothing comes of it, you and I would be ready to jump.
Right. Well, but you've known me for many years now, and we've had this conversation about hobbies like all the time. And I'm like, I'm all or nothing. I think that's what the hard part is that I have this mental block that if I'm going to spend time on something, then I want to kick the can on getting a business built. And to then say, okay, now just what do you do and rest? Like, I shut completely off.
Right.
So it's the get in my pajamas, and that's how I say it, pajamas.
Yep.
And like veg, like literally just turn it. It's like my brain just has on off. It's not on a dimmer.
Yeah. No, I get that.
So
I really genuinely get that. I think that's what's been so fascinating, to finally have a hobby.
Yeah.
I never had a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Because singing wasn't the hobby. It was two worlds. It was, I'm either making money and building a business, or I'm in corporate and I'm achieving and I'm growing and I'm moving up the ladder, or I'm out performing, which means I'm working, I'm growing, I'm trying to get the next gig, I'm constantly thinking ahead. That's all work. That's all achievement based. What the thing about watercolors has been is that I actually enjoy it. It's become therapy for me. And it's become something that I love to do, and there is no rule around it. Achievement there is just getting it done. Sometimes it means painting a blueberry. Some days it means practicing just different kinds of technique. But it's the practice of doing it with no outcome in mind, with no need for achievement there. That's been the shift. And I have found that actually I do need that too. And I don't do it every day. There are sometimes months go by and I haven't picked up the paints because I'm too busy being and doing, instead of just allowing that creative process to be what it's going to be and have nothing other than enjoyment being the principle of it.
Yeah. I guess where my mind is going with it is that I think that it's okay to call a hobby something that isn't necessarily what people would stereotypically call a hobby. Like, oh, I cook as a hobby. Like, that is legit my husband's hobby. Like, he literally, what he does and not away from work for pleasure is to cook, and he reads about it and he studies it, and he's like, we were talking about this weekend, like, we cannot eat anywhere that's better than home right now. So that's a hobby, right? But he's dedicating time outside of that to it. I like to just keep moving. Like, I guess maybe my hobby is just to find things to fix and do and be, and it's maybe not work related, but like, for instance, last night the kids' sink was not, the little stopper thing that stops the water from going down. It wasn't coming out. And it was literally like, I just love to go fix and trinket with that. So I went and found the tools and got my WD-40 and like got that sink working. And that was enjoyable for me.
Right.
And I kept pulling out my our drawer that has all of our seasonings in it and all that. And it has been bothering me for like 2 years that it's so disorganized. So I was like, I'm going to Container Store and posted about it. Yep. Real proud about that. That's a whole nother thing. And I was like, I'm like so in my happy place to like be organizing and cleaning out and decluttering and all that kind of stuff. But I guess maybe it's for me, I think hobby means it has to be repetitive, continuously one thing. And so it's like, then I don't really know that I have one hobby. But if I were to just say what I like to do when I have leisure time is I like to just fidget and fix and organize. And if I'm going to be active, otherwise it's sitting on a couch binge watching television or playing my Clash of Clans on my phone for, oh my God, embarrassing amount of hours. So those types of things, like it's.
I think, so here's my bigger question then.
Yeah.
Do you care?
No. The only time I care is when someone asks me, what's your hobby? Or if you have to fill out an application, what are your hobbies? And like all this. And I'm like, Jesus, I'd make something up. Like, what did I'm puzzling. I do enjoy puzzles. You know, that's a super fun thing, but not every day. And I don't do it all the time.
No one does their hobbies every day.
Retirement. Hello.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If I just painted every single day and did nothing else, or like, I think hobbies too don't exist in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Like last week, I just needed to paint in the morning because I realized it's my zen, right? It's the way that I actually am more focused for the day if I do that first. Okay, cool. That does not mean I can put the expectation on myself that I'm going to do that every single day. Why? Because that's no longer leisure. That's now a scheduled activity.
Yeah.
And it may or may not be a hobby. Like, I don't know, I guess.
But I think it's a matter of just saying it's okay to have your own definition of what a hobby is. But to your point, like it should be something done. If you're going to say it's a hobby, it's not work related. It's done at a time of leisure for pleasure. And so like, listen, it can look different for everybody is what I'm saying.
Which is actually Debbie's way of saying my hobbies are my work-related activities. And so that's my definition.
My definition is keeping busy.
But then I'm going to ask this question because I think this is something that we all, especially high-achieving, performing entrepreneurs, business owners need to ask, which is, I know I've asked myself this question. When I am still, there is a message there that if I'm still, it means I'm not being productive. If I'm not being productive, then I'm not successful. If I'm not I'm not achieving. If I'm not achieving, then I'm not successful. So what happens is it keeps you in the busy trap, which is constantly having to be productive.
Right.
Which in my world has translated to burnout and has translated to my body saying, actually, you do need to stop for a second and you do need to be mindful because your cortisol levels are out of control and you're this and you're that. Like I felt it health-wise. My body was like, put some water on a page and move some paint around.
Yeah.
That's how it showed up.
Yeah.
I had no expectation that was what it was going to be. And in my perfect world, I thought it was going to be me decorating cakes. Right? No, I'm too much of a perfectionist for that. It was not going to happen. And I would have then felt the need to go to baking school.
Yeah.
Because then it's about being the best cake decorator, right? It can't just be about enjoying cakes.
Yes.
Whereas watercolors.
It takes it out of being fun and now it's a job.
Correct. And that's why watercolors is, so there's something about it that I'm like, there are no rules. And they're really, if you ask any artist, because I've asked the question now a lot, like, how do you X? How do you Y? And they're like, no, just do it. Yeah. You'll find your way if you just do it. Right. I'm like, that's a metaphor, right? For life. Yeah. Which is you have to trust in your own instincts and your own path and go. So my question to myself was, if I stop and paint, does that mean that I'm actually letting down my business? That I'm letting down my career, letting down the success of all of that because I didn't go do yet another thing for the business? And what I'm learning is that's a very delicate dance and that it feels to me very selfish if I can't admit that I can actually step away from it and it's still going to spin. Like, it's okay, Jennifer, go paint. for an hour. The world
Yeah.
is not coming to an end.
Yeah.
Like, you're fine. We keep saying that around our family, right? Like, we got to step away. We need to go
Yeah.
spend time with our family. But there's something about that feels that's just what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the same thing, I think, goes for doing something that can let our brains relax in a way that many more downloads come, that many more ideas, that much more creativity. And so to the question of, do you use your hobbies as an additional tool for your business? I do. All of them. They all play back into building a successable business, right? This is a hobby.
Yeah.
In many ways,
Yeah,
right? We
true.
have
that's
this
very
incredible
true.
space where we haven't monetized this podcast. We're not, this is something that we thoroughly enjoy doing and we make time for it. But man, there's something about hobby that feels retired, or we're not it means we don't have to work anymore.
Right. Well, for me, it's about, is it one thing? Or is it more of,
I get bored with one thing.
the idea of something, right? The idea of, I think anything creative for us, like that to me is hobby-esque, hobby-like. We've come up with a lot of words on this podcast. Hashtag hobbyist, hobby-like.
Hobby-like.
It's like, I be like this. And it's like hobby like working. But I also am just to where I don't want people to think that if you don't have the one thing, if you're not like playing tennis on the weekends and that's your hobby, or golf and that's your hobby, or watercoloring or that's your hobby, like there's something that you could say, yes, I can on an application fill out very specific things that are my hobbies, then without saying like, I'm making this up, right? That one, it's either like, wow, you're like need to take a chill pill and find some things that you can relax and enjoy, or you just say,
I love this. I love this whole thing. I really do, because to your point, at least what I hear, my takeaway from this is that somehow, because you don't feel like you have the perfect check the box hobby, that somehow there's shame around what those other things that actually you do in your leisure time. Because to me, puzzles are a hobby. Like, it doesn't have to be the same puzzle. You don't have to have like the 1,000 Sudoku puzzles in the spiral bound thing that you get. Like, it can be that you're going to play this game or you're going to go do this, but it's something that does calm your brain.
yeah.
And for you, if it's mindless gaming, like for me, it's Candy Crush.
Okay, so yes, like I'm trying to get the other one that I'm playing right now.
I'm
It's
almost
the
on
King.
level 4,000.
That's amazing. That is amazing. That was a like
Nick,
very
our
loud
producer,
gasp
just
from our producer.
gasped and laughed. And I've been playing it for like 10 years.
Yeah,
Like, I used to play it on the train, right? I used to play it on the way to work.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It was like, I'm totally fine with saying that could be hobby-esque. Of like, fine, like, and like the puzzling, I do that. It's mainly on Christmas holidays, but to me, again, when I go to look at what I do when I am in rest, is it
Rest and digest.
Rest and
Back
digest.
from whatever episode.
is like there's still activities related around. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like I still am like accomplishing something.
Oh, ultimately, your favorite pastime is accomplishment.
Yes.
My
hobby
need to
is
be able to
accomplishing
accomplish.
things.
If it's not accomplishing something,
Seriously.
so my question for you then would be this: then what kind of hobby could you do that is accomplishing having a hobby? If someone told you, Debbie, you have to have a hobby on this application, like, we can't add you to this board until you have a hobby that you can put right here, you would 1,000% go out and pick a hobby and do it and make time for it and schedule it. You would, because you would accomplish that task of, I now have the hobby.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, but then that takes it out of the definition of hobby. So what I'm saying is, like, for me to actually answer the question as a hobby is defined, I have no hobbies, which is fine. But
Yes.
I have interests and I have things that I do in my leisure for pleasure. They're just, I don't know why I have to say it that way. It's just funny to me.
This is so awesome. It is so awesome.
And those are things like, and that's okay. Like, I'm not saying I'm shamed about it. Like, I'm totally just saying, like, if I had to say what by definition, and that is me doing the Clash Royale or what, I can't, it's driving me crazy because I'm on a new one.
And is it's coins?
Like, it's the same thing as Candy Crush, the same concept where you're moving a thing and the things drop and then you get the ball with that looks like a donut with sprinkles on it and it explodes. Those are the best. And when you get two of those together, it's like it blows up the whole screen.
So
and you're like,
really
amazing.
What we're both saying is that we are addicted to dopamine because the feeling of accomplishment on those games, it's like, yeah.
Like I'm on a roll now where I have like when you get to a certain level and you get like the King's Quest and like every time you start a game, you get all of these automatic extras. I've had those for like 100 rounds and like, I am not gonna.
Have you ever worn an Apple Watch?
I did, but I don't wear one now.
Okay. Were you the one that, cause I'm only saying this because
it was you.
Right. Were you the one that when it was like you've been sitting, you had your streaks of like you needed to stand every hour?
Right.
Or
were you circles the person that go around?
Yeah. Were you that person that was like, I'm moving so that
so Jen's just wailing her arm right now.
Like, did you do that so that you kept your circles?
No.
Okay. Because there is someone that I know who had a streak of almost 2 years of getting the circles every day and would literally stop in the middle of dinner, in the middle of family time and be like, I've got to get my circles in. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Okay. That's what.
Yes. But in like every morning, my morning hobby, I guess, would be Wordle. Because I got to do my word games in the morning.
You love puzzles.
I love, and I was literally telling my kids that this morning. I was like, I love puzzles and problems because we were working on algebra homework and it's the ones where you have to solve for X and then put X in for the next one so you could solve for Y and all of that. Like I was like, oh, I love this. And they're like, what do you mean you love math? I was like, no, I love solving problems. I really do. Like that's okay. Ding, 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 ding. My hobby is.
Yep.
This was a 30-minute episode of me being on the psychiatrist chair of trying to figure out what my freaking hobby is. And now it's doing puzzles.
It's puzzles.
Some kind of puzzle. Like that is like,
Which is what those games are. Same thing with me. It's puzzles. Like it's all strategy.
Yeah. We'll leave out the Bridgerton. That's whatever. I love just mindless television. Have you seen Bridgerton, by the way?
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't. I just watched. I'm still watching Maisel for like the 12th time through. Like, I'm on a Maisel. We're almost there. We're almost about to wrap it up, which is just awesome. Yep. But yes.
So okay. Well, thank you, audience. Thank you, Jen, for making me realize now when I can fill out that application, I have a legit hobby I can put down, and it's puzzles, word puzzles, brain puzzles.
Yep. You like physical puzzles too?
Oh yeah. Love physical puzzles. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you loved this episode and know of someone who would find value in it, please spread the word and share it with a friend. We are passionate about redefining success, and it would mean the world if you could help us get our mission out to as many people as possible. Please take a minute to write a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. You can also hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest episodes. Connect with us on Instagram at Success Resequencing Project or via our website at www.successresequencing.com. We'd love to hear your story.